All right, thanks so much, Greg. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing phenomenally. Really excited to be here and speaking to you all about Norse and our fantastic new partnership with Centrav. It's exciting. I see a lot of names I recognize in the attendee list already, which is great, but then a lot of new ones that I don't as well. So I'm really excited to be able to introduce Norse to everybody. It's also great, I've been to so many events and industry things, and I think I always try to ask the advisors what do you guys use to book, and Centrav seems to be one of the top answers every single time. So this is a really exciting opportunity for us. We want to appreciate everyone's time for dialing in, and excited for that giveaway as well. Excited for someone new to be able to try the product. I think that's what's really incredible about Norse is while we're new, young, and maybe kind of unknown, we have this unbelievable product that people are always incredibly pleasantly surprised to see when they board. It's actually one of my favorite parts of flying with us is I kind of watch the door and watch everybody board, and kind of they get this look of pleasant surprise on their face. Like, oh wow, this is what I was expecting for what I paid and for an unknown airline, because it is really a nice product. But we'll talk about more of that in more detail as we go along here. I have a pretty short brief presentation here. Really just want to talk more about Norse, about what we do, who we are, where we go. And then I'll talk a little bit more about how specifically to book with us through Centrav. We do distribute through code share partnerships that are sourced from the GDS, and what those look like and how you can book them, and the partnership that we have with Centrav that provides private fares for you all that allow you to give some additional value to your clients and customers, as well as receive some incentive for yourself as well. Then we'll talk a little bit about group travel as well. Norse is, we play very heavily in the group travel space. Love it. So definitely be sure to go to Centrav Groups department or desk to book Norse groups as well, if that is in your realm of activities. And then we'll talk a little bit about post-booking management as well, just for yourself, really just pretty standard stuff of how to access the reservation online, where you buy ancillary products, or how the customer could do so themselves, things like that. And then just a little bit more about just general support or information about Norse, and then wrap it all up with why we're a great option for you and for your travelers. We will have plenty of time for questions at the end as well. So please post them in the chat. I'll keep an eye on it, and we'll go back to them and answer everything you can, or I can, once we're done. All right, so let's first start with just who Norse is. So we consider ourselves the Explorers Airline, and the reason we say that is because we believe that we are opening up the world to a new set of explorers that maybe hadn't traditionally had either the availability or funds to be able to go across the Atlantic and to different parts of the world and explore. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for to open up the world to a whole new set of travelers or people who are already frequent travelers to explore. And we do this by providing what we like to call a high-value long-haul product. So we are considered a low-fare airline. We have very affordable fares, but we do not like to use that term low cost, because there can sometimes be a stigma to the quality of something that's low cost, and we have a very nice product, as I had mentioned. So we like to say that it's a very high value long haul product, and we do that by providing two things: both comfort and affordability. We provide both of these things in a variety of ways. So first, all of our routes are nonstop, point to point, from point A to point B. There's no stopover somewhere, there's no connection, there's no changing of planes. There are some others in this kind of long haul, maybe low fare or high value market that do maybe stop over somewhere else. And that is not what Norse does. We provide everything nonstop, point to point, really just making it a smooth, easy, and an enjoyable flight from one country to the next. And we do this all on Boeing 787 Dreamliner. So we currently have 15 787 Dreamliners. Easily one of the nicest long haul products in the sky. So I'm just noticing there's some sort of, you have some bad quality. I'm going to try to turn my microphone up a little bit, see if you can hear me a bit better. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit better. So yes, 787 Dreamliner, arguably one of the nicest long haul aircraft in the sky. Obviously, it provides great rest and is a very quiet product. Easily, really just one of the nicest products out there. We do have 15 of them. We do fly currently about 10 of them in the scheduled network. The rest are reserved for either groups or charter activities or things like that. We also have a very unique premium cabin, which I'll talk about in more detail soon. But as a hint, it is basically a cabin of its own in between today's standard premium economy and a lie flat business class. So it's a very unique product. It's a very high value product, and I'm excited to talk more about it in a bit here. And then, like I said, we do this all at very competitive fares, some of the best fares in the market, if not the best. So we like to say that Norse is perfect for any cost-conscious travelers that are seeking exceptional value. I think in today's world, especially in the travel world, everybody wants the best deal, right? They want to see how much they can get for as affordable of a price as they can get for it. So it's really this exceptional value and high value long haul product that where we fit in perfectly in the market. So this is our current summer route map. To clarify, we do fly seasonally. Just like any other airline, we do have some seasonal routes and some seasonal frequencies. But during the summer is, of course, the peak travel season, and that is when we fly the most. So out of the U.S., we operate out of New York's JFK, which has routes to Oslo, London, Paris, Berlin, Athens, and Rome. We also operate decently heavily out of LAX in Los Angeles with routes to London, Paris, Rome, and Athens as well. And then we have 2 routes out of Florida, both going to London, and that is out of Orlando's MCO and Miami. I do also want to point out that over in London, we do fly in and out of Gatwick, not Heathrow. But these are all obviously very popular routes and very large gateways, right? So there's never a shortage of demand in any of these areas. And it's just a really incredible network for a smaller, younger airline to be able to operate out of these massive gateways and fly to very, very popular destinations. I think Rome and Athens were topping the charts all summer across all travel as kind of, the hot spots of the year. London, Paris, always top of the markets as well. So there's never, like I said, never a shortage of demand in these markets, which is really great because it obviously allows you to be able to provide this value to a greater customer base. Now moving into the winter. So when we say winter, that would be the peak or the shoulder seasons, right? So that basically starts in October and lasts pretty much through March. So we do cut back on some of the routes that we fly, mostly, especially in the transatlantic market. New York, JFK still operates pretty heavily with routes to London, Paris, Rome, and Athens. We still fly Orlando to London all year round, and we also fly LA, Rome all year round as well. Some of the frequencies of these do reduce a bit. We try not to fly anything less than 3 or 4 times a week, but that can vary. In the winter season, we do add capacity to the other side of the world. As you can see there, we recently introduced some new routes that we're really excited about. for this shoulder season from the Nordics to Southeast Asia, with Stockholm and Oslo both going to Phuket and Bangkok, and then London, Cape Town started up this past year as well, and we're very, very excited about that route as well. I do want to say that the New York to London and then London, Cape Town does connect pretty well. Plenty of time to get in and enjoy, or be in London for a little bit and then be able to pop down to Cape Town if that's a connection that anyone is interested in as well. The last thing I want to point out about just our network is we have recently introduced a very exciting partnership with Indigo, actually, where we are actually going to be leasing a handful of our aircraft to Indigo at the end of this year for them to start flying long haul next year, which is a really, really exciting and valuable partnership on both sides of the table. And we are super excited for it. It does, however, mean that because we are leasing out some aircraft, there are going to be some routes that do not return for the summer of next year. So just to go back to the summer map real quick, it is likely that Berlin and Paris are probably the most affected, but our schedule for the summer is mostly loaded, so you can check it out and see what is still available. I just like to point it out because if you do see some routes that are not operating again next year, it is actually for a very good reason, because it is a very exciting partnership that we're going to be leasing out this aircraft to Indigo for at least the next 3 years, and then we plan to regrow the scheduled network after that. All right, I want to talk more about the product specifically now. So this is a great picture of the inside of one of our cabins in the economy product. Basically, it is a standard economy product in the transatlantic market, like you would see just about on any legacy carrier. Right? It has the standard 333 configuration, the standard 31-inch seat pitch, and each of these seats is equipped with a free entertainment seatback screen. I'd also like to call out that this screen, while it is not only entertainment with movies and TV shows and games, but it's also a full marketplace as well. So on this screen, travelers can buy snacks, they can buy the whole meal service, they can buy beverages, they can buy alcoholic beverages, they can buy amenity items like pillows, blankets, headsets, or eye masks. They can even purchase an upgrade from there in that seat to the premium cabin, depending upon availability, of course. So it's a really, really cool way and efficient way to service these 350 or so passengers on the flight, right? So we do still have your traditional drink cart and snack cart that come down the aisles, but when you do have that many people on the plane, it might take a little while sometimes for those carts to come down, and someone might just easily want to quickly get a sandwich and a soda or something, right? And so they can go on that screen, they can click in what they want, and our crew almost acts as if they were, runners in a flying restaurant almost, right? So they take the orders, go into the galleyway, they receive the orders, they bring it directly to that person in that seat, whatever it is that they ordered. So it's a really efficient way of getting everybody the snacks and beverages or amenity items or whatever it is that they want and need, especially in these overnight red-eye kind of flights, right? A lot of people just want to get home, they want to eat something real quick, and they want to try to get some sleep. So it's a really great way to service everybody on board here. Now, I mentioned, of course, that we have very, very competitive fares and pricing. So if we are looking at one-way fares from the U.S. point of origin for 2025, both booked and traveled in 2025, through our GDS distribution, the average, the average one-way fare is about $393 as of a few weeks ago. So very, very attractive pricing, right? We're talking under $800 base fare for a round trip to Europe and back. Now that looks at all of our routes network-wide, and it was run basically for anything booked in 25 for travel in 2025. But very, very attractive pricing for a standard product, right? It's not like you're cramming additional people on board or anyone sitting in your lap or anything like this, right? It's a standard economy product. Next, I want to talk about the premium cabin. This is where we really see tremendous value. So in the premium cabin, the seat itself is almost more like a domestic first class seat. So it's a step up from kind of today's traditional or standard premium economy product. It has a greater pitch at 43 inches. It's a wider seat at 19 inches. It has additional recline at 12 inches. Has a great footrest on each of the seats as well. And then, of course, in the premium cabin, you do get all of the bells and whistles that typically come with the front cabins as well, right? So you get premium check-in, you get priority boarding, you get all meals and drinks included, and then free amenity items as well, blankets, pillows, eye masks, earplugs, whatever it is, the standard kind of amenity items that come along, excuse me, with it. And what's really incredible about this, what makes it such a high value product, is that it's sold as a premium economy. So you get a very attractive premium economy price for an even better seat. So if we're looking at the same kind of statistics here, anything booked in 25 for travel in 25, one way from US point of origin as of 2 or 3 weeks ago, the average fare is about $745 across all of our routes. Incredibly attractive, right? We are talking less than $1,500 round trip. Comparatively to a standard premium economy product, that could be a fraction of the cost for a better seat, right? It's bigger, it's wider, it's got additional recline, a better footrest, really high value product here. Okay, so I want to move into booking with Norse and how you do so, now that I'm sure everybody is just cannot wait to go out there and book us after seeing that product. So basically how we distributed today, we have recently launched 2 code share partnerships with these organizations, APG, the Airline Promotion Group, and Han Air. If you are familiar with these organizations, they are considered like virtual carriers essentially in a way. They help smaller, younger airlines distribute through the GDS. And it comes up as a code share, just like any other code share, like a United Lufthansa, a Delta KLM, whatever it is, it looks and books the same as any code share. So APG launched earlier this year. The inventory has been available out there for a few months now, probably up to 6 months, I guess. And it all comes under their airline code, which is A1. So APG in these cases is the issuing carrier, whereas Norse is the operating. And as the issuing carrier, it's issued on their ticket stock, which is GP275. Now, we recently, within the last 2 months, I think, introduced a very similar partnership with Han Air. So similarly, Han Air is the ticketing and issuing carrier. The availability comes up under their airline code, which is A1. Of course, as like a code share, you would then see / our airline code, which I do want to point out, Norse actually has 2 airline codes. We have N0 for anything around Europe, for any of our European flights. And then we have Z0 for anything specifically in and out of London. So if you see X1N0 or X1/Z0, those are Norse flights, same with APG. Again, Han Air being the issuing, Norse being the operating, so it is on Han Air's ticket stock, which is HR169. And again, it looks standard to any other code share that you've booked. It's booked the same, it's processed the same. They are the ticketing marketing carriers. Okay, so let's talk about the fares that we distribute and the private fares that we have available to you all through Centrav. So you have access to our classic fare bundle. So our classic fare bundle is really our standard product, right? It's your typical kind of fare. It comes with a personal item, carry-on, a standard check bag, one meal, the main meal service in economy, general boarding, and changeability for a fee. In premium, you get all that plus all the premium amenities that come with it, such as the main meal service and the secondary snack kind of second meal service, premium boarding, priority check-in, and all the amenities and services that come with the premium cabin. That is the fare bundle. And then through Centrav, you have access to these exclusive discounts and markup eligible private fares. So on our classic fare bundle in economy, you receive a 2% discount, which is eligible for markup. And then in the premium cabin, you receive a 4% discount, which is also eligible for markup. Now, I do want to point out that while the classic bundle is our standard fare, similar to a typical kind of legacy bundle, the one thing it does not include is a seat selection. So seat selection is an additional cost, and I'll show you kind of and talk about how to do so later on. You do not have to pick a seat. You will eventually be assigned one, but everyone will be assigned a seat before boarding. But if you would like to choose the seat that you sit in, there is an additional cost to that. And of course, that varies depending upon the seat that you choose. It could be anywhere from, I think, like $40, if you're further towards the back, up to, $75 or even $120 if you're talking aisle, bulkhead, and things like that. So a little bit more on groups specifically. So with our group product, we also use the classic fare bundle as well, again, because this is the typical kind of standard fare with all the baggage included, the meals included, general boarding, and things like that. Now, for our group partners and for our partners with Centrav here, going through Centrav, you also get a free seat assignment with all group fares. So we do include seat assignments in any group bookings for no additional cost. And basically what we do is for buying in bulk and for buying as a group, you typically get the classic, or you will get the classic fare bundle, and we typically give it for a price of around what our economy light fare usually is, which is kind of like our basic economy a la carte style fare. So you do get essentially a bulk or group discount when you're using using Norse for your groups as well. And groups are considered anything 10 or more. All right, a little bit more on just kind of the management and support information from Norse. So standard to other airlines, right, or any other really supplier, you can access the reservation through our website. So our website is simply flynorse.com. We have the Your Trips tab at the very top. That essentially takes you to a page where you would enter the PNR and the last name. One thing I want to point out is that we did program our website or in this function to accept the APG and or Hanair PNR, which is the one that you will see at the very top of the itinerary, because there is a Norse PNR, but it's further down in the itinerary, so you don't have to go digging for that. Essentially, you can use the APG and or Hanair PNR, enter the traveler's last name, and then that'll give you access to the reservation online. This is really handy for any ancillary items. So as I mentioned, seat selection is an additional cost. So this is where you would go to purchase seats. Of course, you can see the cost of the seat on a seat map. It's also where you can purchase additional meals, additional baggage. You could purchase priority check-in or premium or priority boarding. All of these things are kind of managed, purchased and managed within this section here. Just a little bit more about Norse information and support. This is really just educational. We do also have a support page on our website, flynorse.com. Gives you access to a variety of different information, a help center, pre-flight checklist, baggage info, mishandled bag, infant policies, and more. Right, this is where you can find all that type of information. We also have a very detailed FAQ in here that also helps answer a lot of these questions and more. We also have a chat bot that we call Odin. We are a Norwegian carrier, if I forgot to mention that. So our chat bot is called Odin Wingman. And essentially, Odin can be used to help direct you to more information or whatever it is you need. It's a really nice way to kind of quickly get to the information you need. So you can find them at the support page here, or Odin usually pops up in the bottom right-hand corner there as well. I used Odin somewhat recently to find one of our carrying policies, right? I think it was our unaccompanied minor policy, I think it was. So I quickly just typed in unaccompanied minor into the Odin chatbot, and it basically took me to that section of the FAQ where it told me everything I needed to know about that policy. So it's a really easy and efficient way to just get to the information that you're looking for. Okay, so lastly, we'll just kind of wrap up everything we talked about here, and as why it's a good option, why Norse is a great option for both you and your travelers. So firstly, it comes down to that value, right? We provide this comfort and affordable product, really, really great seat, really great aircraft, and very, very attractive pricing. We do have these year-round commissionable private fares for you through Centrav now. Having this partnership with Centrav also opens up the opportunity for any sort of exclusive promotional fares, which we have been looking into more and more. So stay tuned for possibly an exclusive promotion through Centrav in the coming months or time. And then, of course, happy clients are return clients, right? So if you're able to provide this incredible product for a very affordable price and give someone truly this tremendous value, they're going to be happy. And if they're happy, they're going to come back to you for their next trip and their next trip and their next trip. Right, so this value is really, really a great reason. The number one reason as to why Norse is a good option. The second reason is our network. While it is small and we are young, we do provide that nonstop point-to-point flying, which is a huge value, especially on such a nice product, and to be able to get there to your destination so quickly, not having to stop over or lay over, anything like that. We do operate major gateways with very, very popular destinations, as we had discussed. And truly, Norse's network is a really good opportunity for you all as travel advisors to showcase your expertise, right? A lot of travelers are pretty familiar with the carriers that fly in these routes because they are so popular, right? So to be able to take to one of your clients and say, hey, there's this new option, Norse Atlantic, that can provide this incredibly high value product at a very affordable price for you, and might be a good option. It's really going to show them that you are the expert in what you do, and that reassure them that this is the reason that they go back to you, because you know these things, and it's just you can showcase that experience and expertise and knowledge to them, providing additional value, right? And then lastly, the experience just as a whole. Right, so we do combine that Dreamliner incredible aircraft with Norse's value of comfort and affordability. Just makes the whole travel experience very calm and pleasant and enjoyable. I do want to give a quick shout out, of course, to our crew. We are constantly given tremendous feedback and raving about our crew being very kind and attentive and inclusive. We drill this into them in their training, and we make sure to hire these types of crew members, and they really do exemplify this every day with all of our passengers. We do strive for an 85% on-time goal, and we do provide that support that you need, whether it's through us or whether through your support system at Centrav and through our partnership. So that is the whole presentation. If I can get this to go. Thank you so much, everyone. Again, really, really appreciate your time, your attention. And I guess now I'll look through some of these questions and go back and see what I can answer.
Super presentation, Tyler. Love it. And while you're looking over those questions, I'll just remind everybody or emphasize, I guess, that when you're booking Norse on Centrav.com, you'll be looking for APG. A1 is the airline code, but it will say operated by Norse right there in the itinerary. So you'll know that you're getting the airline if you wonder who's APG. Now it shows operated by Norse, that's what you're looking for. And when you make the booking, look in My Bookings for the reference number, and that's what you can use when you go on the Norse website to make your seat assignments. But this is a great product. I love those nonstop flights. I'm seeing comments come in about those nonstops from several US gateways right into Europe, so the heart of Europe. So that's awesome. I'll turn it back over to you, Tyler, to do Q&A.
All right, thanks so much, Argen. Thanks for pointing that out. Yes, it's important to know. So, all right, let's dive into some of the questions. I think it looks like Greg may have answered some already, so I'll skip a couple of those. This says, when does the summer schedule end? We pretty much operate the summer schedule mostly through September. October is really where we switch to the quote unquote winter or shoulder season. So one of my biggest questions I have is with Norse prices, because prices are great, many clients are skeptical because of some reviews and cancellations. So I do want to address that, because that's a great point to point out. We did have some trouble, I think, kind of early on, especially a year or so ago with cancellations, and because we have limited aircraft, one cancellation leads to more, right? So it has been a huge project of ours internally to basically optimize the usage of the planes and the usage of our crew to cut down on any sort of extended times in cancellations and or delay times. That's part of the reason we strive for the 85% on time goal. If we do have a delay, we're not as the size of a much larger carrier that can just bring in a new aircraft. But we have provided rebookings at times. We provided reaccommodation. We certainly try to give back to the customers that are affected in the most ways as possible. And I totally understand people being skeptical. Frankly, I think I was even when I first started flying us over to do my interviews, right? But I do have to say, I mean, just like the value that you get for the product, and pretty much rarely are we having these sorts of issues. It is my skepticism was quickly diminished, and I'm sure once travelers fly with us for the first time and see the value, the product, the crew, the experience, I'm sure they'll feel the same. Do you fly to Japan in the spring next year? We do not operate to Japan at this time. Possible routing coming from LA to Bangkok. Not at this time, not that I'm aware of. I think LA will probably stick to those four kind of core routes that we have right now. But we're constantly evaluating network and schedule opportunity. Plans to expand, say, to the Caribbean. Not to the Caribbean right now. I think we actually did try that a few years ago, and it unfortunately didn't work out very well for us. So transatlantic is really kind of our bread and butter. That's probably where we're going to stay. We were expanding very significantly in the last year due to that really exciting partnership with Indigo. That will kind of pause any further expansion. As I mentioned, we'll be reducing the scheduled network slightly because of that. But again, that partnership is super incredible, especially because I think I saw a question here about financials as a company. That's a big piece of this partnership, right? It really, as a young small carrier, airlines operate on thin margins already, right? This partnership with Indigo really secures our financial security and stability, which is really exciting, and it will allow us to come back, return to a scheduled network, and be even bigger and better and grow and expand from there. So current expansion plans probably paused, but definitely look for more as time goes on. For Indigo, so Indigo, the Indigo partnership, something about booking with them, that is a wet lease. So it is their flight. You know, it's our aircraft and our crew, but it is their flight entirely. Marketed, ticketed, issued, everything is theirs. I see one about repeating the winter months. Let me see if I can go back in here real quick. I'll pull up the winter schedule for you. There you go. My kids love being able to order right from the screen. Love to hear that. Yes, it is a tremendous value and efficiency. There's a question here about the narrows or the aisles being narrowed. This is a 787 Dreamliner that they make standard to all other products, right? 333 configuration. That is the standard, just like any other carrier. So our aisles are the same width as any others. Great pricing. Another question about Ireland expansion. We have looked at Ireland. It's really a great destination. Very competitive. Could be tough. And again, right now we are kind of pausing any further route expansion. Some questions about baggage being included. This was probably before I pulled that up. What's included in the classic fare, but yes, the classic fare includes a carry-on, a personal item, standard carry-on, and standard check bag. A premium ticket does not include a lounge pass. We do have partnerships with certain airport lounges that can be purchased through those ancillary items. So if you access the reservation online with the PNR and last name, we do have partnerships with some lounges where you can purchase a pass to the lounge. I guess I should read the question to not confuse people. Sorry. A couple questions about charging for seat selection. So just want to reiterate, yes, seat selection is an additional cost, except for groups. In groups, it is included in the cost, and the price can vary depending upon the seat you select, of course. Question here about if you're not in GDS, how can one book? So as I mentioned, we are in all major GDS through those code share partnerships. So APG and Han Air, all of the inventory we found as a code share under their airline codes, A1 and X1. They are the issuing carriers. And as Greg mentioned, we are the operating. So you will see us, Norse Atlantic Airways, as the operating carrier through Centrav, and you'll be able to book us easily through there and use those private fares to be able to provide a bit of a discount to your customers and a bit of an incentive commission for you. There's a question about what routes are those airfare for. So the 393 and 745 that I pulled up, that is an average across all of our network or US routes from the US point of origin at the time it was run, which was about just a week or so ago. How much will the cost of a second checked bag be? Depends on the size, right? I don't want to say something incorrectly, so it does depend on the type of bag, size, and things like that. There's a question here about what is the max markup. We do not personally, as a carrier, have a max on that markup. I believe, I don't know, Greg, if you want to chime in, I don't know if there's anything on the Centrav side as to how your markups.
Nope. No, there's no max markup. You can charge $1 million if your client will pay it, but just use a reasonable number. But you can charge what you want, and we will pay out commissions within 2 weeks of purchase.
Amazing. So yes, so as of now, we actually do not max or have a max on that markup. We want to incentivize you to book your travelers with us. What is the cost for choosing a seat in premium, and are there different prices based on aisle or window or middle? So the premium seating is actually pretty much the same pricing as the economy, because you've already paid the additional fare for the premium cabin, right? So it could be I think it goes as low as about $40 or $50 if you're picking like a middle in the 232 configuration. The aisles and windows go about 70, 75 probably. And then the bulkheads, which are very popular, as you get that extra space and leg room, usually go for about 100 to 120, I think. Do we offer any day flights to Europe from any of our gateways? I believe that's a question regarding frequencies. I will say in our summer routing, most of our flights are almost daily, if not 5 or 6 times a week. So yes, we do have daily flights from these gateways in the summer. In the winter, some still go daily, like I believe it's Orlando, London, New York, London. And then some of them will reduce frequencies to maybe like 4 or 5 times a week, something like that, in the winter. Summer is just about daily or slightly less. Do you plan to develop an app? Great question. Thanks for asking this. I should have included that. We actually just released an app. So you can find us on the App Store, just Norse Atlantic Airways. It is pretty basic right now, to be transparent, but it is a great way to have your reservation and ticket and everything right there for you. With this actually leads me into another thought. So we, for the past year or so, everything has been check-in at the counter at the airport, but we have recently introduced online check-in, so you can skip the counter. That is still in development, so that is actually only for some of our web sales right now. So anything booked through Centrav here would still require check-in at the counter at the airport, but that hopefully should be changing soon. It is in development to have online check-in for all. Question about, would you normally assign one of the double seats at the side of the aircraft for couples? So yes, we do, of course, try to seat people in the same reservation together if it's available. That is part of especially part of our group process. That is part of the reason why we include group seating in groups, so that we can sit everyone together or move someone if they don't want to be. But yes, we do try, even in individual bookings, we do try to assign people within the same reservation next to each other or near each other. Just, of course, not always possible. Are all meals and drinks across the pond purchase only? So in that classic fare bundle, the main meal service is included, and that includes a drink with that meal, soft drink or whatever it is that you want. Water, you can get water at any time. Other than that main meal service, there are snacks for purchase, a secondary kind of lighter meal service that can be for purchase in economy. In the premium cabin, all meals, drinks are included.